Hey, welcome aboard here. Walter here from Naked Forex. And what I want to do here is share with you something that's actually really cool. This is a tool, this is a method for you to use when you want to make better trading decisions. So it's kind of like if you think about when you're going to buy a car, for example. Actually, a friend of mine, he used to sell cars, and he told me that I didn't know this, that a lot of the time what happens when you try and sell cars, like, when you take a car out for a test drive, what the sales guy wants to do. He wants to get a really good deal for himself, right? Because he's usually working on commissions and so forth. And you want to get the best deal that you can. So you research the car, find out what the manufacturer's expected price is, or maybe you go in at the retail price recommendation, or you go in at the end of the month knowing when they're trying to meet their quotas or whatever you do. Well, what they do is when you out test driving the car, a lot of times his buddies are going to go through your glove box in the car that's parked there at the lot, and they try and learn a lot about you. So what I do is when you do that, what you do is put a bunch of marbles in there. So when they open up the glove box, all these marbles fall out everywhere. Just, I don't know why. I think that's funny. Anyway, well, that's kind of a trick, right? So I like to call them out on that. But here's what you need to do when you're trading. It's the exact same thing. As a trader, it's really important for you to know who are the other people on the other side of the trade. See, you'll never make a decision as good. The best decision you make as a trader is when you are completely out of a trade. So my best ability at analyzing the market is when I'm not in a trade. So it's the same thing. If you really want to know whether a car is a good deal, it's when you don't want to buy a car, That's why it's always good to ask a friend, do you think this is a good deal? Well, you can do the same thing with your trading. And this is how I do it. It's kind of a mind trick. What I like to do is, if I'm in a trade, I'll say, well, who are the other people that are on the other side? So I'm in a 1 hour chart trade here. And this is not, the date doesn't really matter. Chances are you're going to watch this video well after the trade is over. But here's what happened. I'm very, very bullish this pair, the Swiss yen. And the reason why, it's actually not on here. Well, turns out that the Swiss yen is what I like to do is look at the open position ratios. You may have seen this in other videos. And so right now, if I look at my Swiss yen, the market is super, super bearish. So a lot of people are selling. Just like right now, they're selling the Euro USD. So 74, or they're buying the Euro USD, so it's a bearish market. So 74% of the market is buying the Euro, so I want to sell. 76% of the market is buying the pound Singapore, so I want to sell. These are all long. 76% of the market is selling the pound New Zealand, so I want to go. 67% of the market is selling the pound New Zealand, so I want to go long that pair. It's a very good trend indicator when you see the market piling in on one side. So anyway, take my word for it. The Swiss yen right now is doing that, okay? And so what I want to do is I want to be one of those people that goes long the Swiss yen. So I took a trade yesterday at this low. This is the low of the day, it turns out, and put my stop loss at 111.45, bought at 111.59. It's only up a little bit right now. But more importantly is when I look at this, who are those people who are actually going in the opposite direction? Who are the traders that are going the opposite direction? To see that, I like to look at the daily. So here's what I'm seeing. I know that the market hit this level back in March. It hit it again midway through March, and it's just hit it again now. So there are going to be some traders here who are thinking, you know what? Darn it, that market's going to fall again. It's going to fall back down. So who are the traders that are doing that? Well, they're the swing traders. They're the traders that are banking on this being resistance. However, I know a couple of things. Number one, I know that the market's been making higher lows. So this is what we call a squeeze play, when a trend line pushes the market up against a horizontal level. So that's number one. And this is a very reliable pattern for me. So long as the market doesn't break higher and then come back down on the very next candle. As long as that doesn't happen, then this is a pretty good setup. And the fact that the market is super, super bearish now is a sign that this is probably going to explode upward. So that's who I know is on the opposite side of my trade. So if I think about it this way and say, who is on the opposite side of my trade? Who thinks that I am wrong? Well, it's the swing traders. And these swing traders are the exact same traders. They're trying to pick the bottom of a downtrend or the top of a uptrend. So when you see these numbers, these wild numbers here, where all these traders, like over 70% right now, are buying, see, long the euro. 74% of traders are buying the euro. That means that obviously I want to be on the short side. I want to sell the euro. And the same thing here with the Swiss yen, where over 70% of the traders are actually selling the Swiss yen, so I won't buy it. Now, there's another thing to keep in mind here. There are going to be a whole lot of orders up here above this swing high, even the most recent swing high here, the shorter term traders, and over here above this swing high. What are those orders? Well, I submit to you that there are two types of orders there. And this is why this breakout strategy works so well. One are the stop losses for the swing traders. So some people actually sold over here, and so they put their stop loss up there. And then they're like, woohoo, we're in the money. And then they're like, oh no, it's retracing against me. And chances are they probably didn't get out of the trade. And they're either in a slight drawdown or possibly in very slight profit from selling over here. There were also traders over here, of course, that sold, and they put their stop loss up here. Now, assuming they didn't get popped out and they're still in the trade, they're thinking the same thing that these traders are thinking. Now, there are also another group of traders, the trend followers that like to get into really strong trends. They've got their orders above this swing high and above this swing high, and maybe even the current swing high if they're trading lower time frame. And they're like, you know what? If it takes out this high here, I'm going to go long because this is a new trend. And that's exactly what I'm banking on. So I believe that if the market can just push itself up to 111.90, 111.99, 112.10, if it can get up into that level, there's going to be a whole lot of liquidity, and the market's going to push through there like a magnet. It's going to really zoom and get up there, sort of like it did over here last time. So that's what I'm banking on. And I know it's difficult to analyze the markets in a way that you're not very biased or what have you. And by the way, if this kind of stuff is interesting to you, you should click the link above or below this video and get into the small account big profits course, where we take a small account and grow it really quickly. That link has information about that for you. So that's what I would do if I were you. If you're trying to kind of look at something level-headed, and we'll talk about this in the course, you really need to do it think who are the traders on the other side? Who are these guys? And I'm saying that this is who I bought down here at this swing low, basically. And so who was thinking, this is the 4-hour chart now, who was thinking that I was wrong? Who was thinking that this is a bad idea? Those guys that sold up here, those guys that sold right here, and those guys that sold over here. Those are all the people that are in the majority, as it turns out, for the retail world. Now, the pro world is a totally different thing. I'm not going to talk about that. I only use the retail traders as a guide as to where I should go long or short, or where the strong trends are. So that's the way I look at it. So hopefully this helps. I wish you very happy trading. If you want to join us in the Small Account Big Profits course, we'll see you there. Otherwise, we'll see you in another video. Take care. See you. Happy trading.